A man on the brink.
Yeah, so Joe Matarese
This
has
was
been going live. And do you know if he deleted all of his lives recently or just this one?
I know it's just this one. I can check.
So he's been doing these lives from Atlantic City late at night. And it's just him talking to the 10 people in the chat. And Hackride actually sent me this one with no text or anything. I thought maybe he was just saying like, "Hey, Matarese posted for the first time in a while." I'm watching the video and it takes a while. He doesn't talk for a while. And I'm like, oh, does anything even happen here? And then sure enough, Joe Matarese is able to
Whoops.
what was that?
I'm checking to see if his lives are up. He has one from 3 days ago.
Oh, interesting.
At Brigantine Beach.
But he deleted this one.
He deleted this one.
Oh, that means he deleted another one. If that one's the most recent one.
Yep.
But
So
it doesn't matter.
It's just that one and him explaining bombing.
Well, that's backup.
And then that annoying trailer keeps playing.
Hey guys, go watch Militant Mixtapes, huh?
Yeah, please.
So Joe Matarese has been doing these lives, and I'm watching, and I'm thinking, this is pretty boring. Why did Hackride send me this? But you got to be patient sometimes with old Joe Matarese.
Yep.
Because he manages to stumble into, and I mean, this guy has had some bad ideas. But this is the cream of the crop. He managed to finally come up with the gold standard for bad ideas that he's had.
Worst idea he's ever had.
You agree?
Oh God, yeah.
It's got to be his worst.
His idea's been done successfully already.
It's crazy to have this idea. Let's not spoil it too much. Let's hear what old Joe has to say. So yeah, this is a man who seems to be losing his mind. And I thought we were honestly, Joe did the Porcelain interview, like sat down with Porcelain, and they released that, and then kind of disappeared for a while. And I was like, oh, fixing Joe worked.
Right.
He fixed himself.
Right.
But right now we're back in 2017. It's crazy. He's just teleported right back to that time. And here we are. Just Joe losing his mind in a live stream again.
How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
How are you?
Good.
I haven't talked to everybody in a while.
Well, you're not really talking to us now, so.
All the comments are shut off on all my social media.
Joe, why are you doing that?
A couple swings, a couple misses. What you gonna do, you know? How's the meds working, Joe? Drinking and meds.
This is a grim.
Meds are good, man.
It's not good.
Keeping me from yelling at people. That's good.
That's us, by the way. That's us that he's not yelling at because of his meds.
Probably.
We should be lucky.
I would love for him to yell.
Imagine, Joe said, he said in there, a couple swings, couple misses. Imagine if you had a 30-year MLB career and only struck out for the entirety of it.
Yeah.
At some point, you have to blame the general manager or the manager for continuing to put him out there.
He got a double once.
When was that?
America's Got Talent or whatever.
The first time he was on.
Yeah.
The second time, not quite as good.
Not quite as good. Like, that was like a double, I guess.
Yeah, so Joe, as you can see, is kind of in a rough state.
Now, this we kind of teased on the last Joe Matarese we did behind the paywall.
Yeah. Which you can go watch now if you like on both YouTube and Patreon.
Something we might be getting ourselves into.
Oh, yeah. So this is exciting. Guys, by the way, some of you guys might not know if you're newer here. Gearhead meetups are a thing, which, by the way, I was thinking of this because Aaron from Steel Toe is doing, he's like Michael Scott. He's doing the roast of Aaron. He's throwing himself a roast.
Okay.
And Keanu and Gino were supposed to go to that. Now, it's wild. It would be like if the roast of Alec Baldwin was happening today. Or like a year ago. Like when the Rust shooting was happening, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, at the worst time of his life, Aaron's like, what if I invited some comedians to roast me? That'd be really fun.
Yeah, and they'll definitely be able to put new things out in the world that haven't come out yet.
Yeah. So that's Aaron's idea of like fan appreciation is, hey, now you can pay to come to a shitty roast. What we do here is we have Gearhead meetups where you guys can come or not, but they've been pretty fun in the past. It doesn't give us any money. Just know that. Like, you'd be paying for a ticket to a Joe Matarese show. So just know that's what your money's going to. But usually I buy tickets for a few people, and the rest of you can buy tickets for yourselves. And we'll all go. We went to see Brendan Schaub. We obviously saw Tom Myers and Havre de Grace. We went to one actually good show, Matt McCusker.
That was great.
I'm trying to think. That's probably it, right?
Yeah, we realized that the good show wasn't.
It wasn't the same. We just enjoyed ourselves.
Afterwards, because like after shop, we all sat in the lobby and we're like, all right, let's talk about this.
What was that?
And Jon Stewart's giving us money. And then
Yeah.
And then Matt McCusker after we were like, that was hilarious.
That was great. That was an awesome show.
Butterly was so funny.
Yeah.
Like that was what we
It
did.
didn't work the same.
Yeah.
So Joe Matarese is giving his dates here, and he says something very interesting.
I've been on the West Coast in a fucking really long time. I do like coming there, but it's my life now. It's like it's in this radius of Connecticut, New York, Pennsylvania.
Yep, that's how geography works.
Jersey, Maryland, Delaware. Occasionally, I drift up into Massachusetts. Occasionally.
Oh?
This fall, I'm doing some things in Massachusetts. I haven't been there in a while, so it should be interesting.
Oh, really, Joe?
So this fall.
Now, Joe says we don't put our money where our mouth is and support him. I believe he's going to Foxborough.
Yep.
Great time. Nowhere better than Patriot Place in the fall. I'm sure he's playing a Sunday at 1.
Probably.
but let's see. We're gonna look into that. So if you guys want to go to Joe Matarese, stay tuned. I'll let you know the deets.
One in the chat if you want to go.
Yeah, if you're in the New England area or it's a reasonable trip for you, could be fun. Joe says we don't put our money where our mouths are and support him, but our mouths are going to be in Foxborough.
It's going to be the best door he's had in a while.
Yes, hell yeah. Oh, and I would say, if you haven't watched the Patreon yet, bring your kids. I think we should have a front row of only children.
Yeah. If it's not 18
I think that would be so great.
That'd be so funny.
If the front row was all 10 and under.
He kicks them out, and then everyone behind that's in the place is their parents.
Gets up and leaves.
Yeah.
Chef Lou, I know Chef Lewis will do it.
He'll definitely be there. He'll cater it.
Damn
If it's in Foxborough, we should tailgate before too.
That would be fun. Oh, you're right. Yeah, that'd be a fun day.
That would be great.
All right. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. But there's more Matarese here.
Yeah, it's do an impression.
Yeah, so this is like Joe, for a while, was trying to make his bones. He's like, hey, I'm the impression guy. Here's me doing Jim Florentine. Here's me doing Tony Soprano.
Rocky.
And they were all terrible, but whatever. You know? Good for him. He was trying something. Now someone's like, hey, do an impression. Come on, funny man. Let's hear a joke.
Stop asking me to do impressions, okay? I'm not a fucking comedy jukebox.
All right, sorry, Joe. You were just not saying anything to the camera, so.
You do your Tony Soprano.
Yeah, you do your Tony Soprano, he said. Okay, Joe. Then I'll leave your chat and I'll go do my Tony Soprano. Sorry to bother you.
I'll go do a Twitter live that has more people.
I was talking to Box Eating Dad about this, as most of my good conversations go.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying, like, I don't know. I go back and forth where I'm like, is Joe just a guy he's frustrated with the fact that he hasn't, or is he an asshole? Because you hear stuff like that and he sounds like kind of an asshole, you know?
But also defeated at the same time.
Like, there is a way to do a show if you get trolled and just do it however you want it and not pay attention to the comments, you know?
Right.
It's possible. I'm not saying it's the easiest thing in the world, but you could do it, Joe. I believe in you.
We believe in you. I can't
He's
wait.
such a fucking dick.
The tailgate idea is just terrific.
That's very fun.
What do you guys think about me doing a documentary?
Okay.
Shit.
Here we go. You might be thinking a documentary about what, Joe? You've had documentaries about you, so obviously not that. But what's your documentary idea?
What do you guys think about me doing a documentary? I started thinking about it. If I ran a GoFundMe.
Oh, no. Joe!
My career in the past 6 years as it's been.
No! Joe, stop. Stop what you're doing. If you couldn't hear him there because the audio is kind of shitty. Joe said, what if I do a GoFundMe to make a documentary about the last 6 years? It's such a colossally bad idea. And I'll explain why if you're like, Mike, documentaries are made all the time. Why is that such a bad idea? First of all, the quintessential Joe Matarese documentary has been made. 3 of them, actually.
Sure has.
If you haven't seen them, go check out Porcelain. An Inconvenient Goof is the first one. Medicaid? I can't remember the names of the others. But go check out Porcelain on YouTube, and you will find 3 Joe Matarese documentaries. And what's interesting about those is it's a guy whose real name we don't even know, who we didn't have to give money to, who just made a documentary for free and put it out on YouTube, and it got a shit ton of views, even though we didn't know who the subject was. Now, you may be... Craig, are you a documentary guy?
I am a documentary guy.
Name a recent one that you've watched.
Shit. There's so many. There's like Making a Murderer. There's
okay. Boy, you seem like a real documentary guy. You've picked the most famous documentary that's pretty much ever been made. The most watched documentary. I could tell you're.
Oh, the last one.
Yeah.
There's a mob one that just came out. I forget what it's called. I think it's like Kill City or something on Netflix.
What's it about?
It's about catching the mob and like taping them when they don't know it.
Catching the mob and taping them?
Yeah.
Let me throw this idea at you. What if I did a documentary about wiretapping the mafia? It'd be kind of like that idea. But it would be me doing it. It would be just like a worse version of that. Yeah. Do you think that'd be good?
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Tiger King, that's another one.
Oh, Tiger King, perfect example. What if I did a documentary about Joe Exotic? And you guys give me money to do it. Like you go watch the Joe Exotic documentary right now. You've probably already seen it. It was very popular. But then what if I did one? And it was just a different title and it was worse quality and you guys gave me money for it. Would that be something you might be interested in?
We make honestly, it's the summer, so we're not, but we kind of make like a semi-documentary every week.
Yeah, I mean, like,
why are you laughing?
I don't like to call it that because it doesn't take nearly as much work as an actual documentary, but it's documentary adjacent.
It's semi-doc.
It's documentary style, I guess you could say, and it takes me several hours, and I do one every week.
Oh, actually, so you might want to be into this one. I forget what it's called, but it was a documentary about this guy who has over 1,000 kids because he like spams and frauds sperm banks.
Yep.
So,
I was hearing about that actually.
It's kind of wild.
I've heard people talk about that documentary. Now let me throw this at you.
Okay.
What if there was a documentary about that very subject, but I did it?
Ooh, interesting.
And you guys, tossed me a couple bucks.
We started GoFundMe.
It's amazing. What's amazing about this is it's amazing that people don't get the idea of crowdfunding. Where literally you can super chat me right now, and people do it. I'm not saying I make crazy money, but you're welcome to super chat me right now. You can also subscribe to my Patreon. I think people do it because they don't feel like there's a gun to their head.
Yeah, right.
It's amazing that people don't understand that concept.
Mm.
All right, so let's hear more about this fucking documentary. What a terrible idea, Joe.
from the porcelain docs to the Red Bar stuff to all these other podcasts. I've become a genre now.
Oh, you mean so exactly like the porcelain documentary?
Someone actually chatted earlier. I can't find it right now, but they said it's called the Metaverse. Which,
the Metaverse.
Yeah, which I enjoy a lot.
What? He's like, hey, what if I did a documentary about my life after the porcelain documentary? You know who actually did that? Porcelain. He did a follow-up documentary.
He did twice.
Yep.
It's like a genre for podcasters now.
I hate that Joe thinks that of himself. Like, listen,
would people
credit to Joe for being interesting enough for us to talk about? I guess he can hang his head on that. I hate the idea that he's like, oh, I'm so fucking interesting that I'm a genre of podcasting. I guess. Like, Joe, if you died tomorrow, we'd just talk about someone else. It's not that big a deal.
I don't even know if we'd bring it up.
We have other subjects we can't get to because I have to talk about you.
donate? Because it costs a lot of money to make it. I would want to make a good documentary.
Well, that's a nice goal. That's a nifty goal for you there, Joe.
But don't do, with Total Recall again.
Well, here's actually, you know what? I made a silly analogy before. I said, like, hey, what if we made Making a Murderer, but just I did it? I do have to throw the twist in. What if I made Making a Murderer, just the same documentary, but I actually took all the interesting parts out?
Ooh.
Like, I don't talk about like the conspiracy, the idea that it might have been someone else. I don't talk about Stephen Avery being not guilty for his first murder. I don't mention any of that. I just literally talk about the facts in a serious manner. Joe's like, hey, what if I did a documentary that's not making fun of me at all? I just told you how I'm doing. Oh, so we get the experience of knowing you? Who wants that?
Oh, I do.
I truly don't.
Your favorite thing in the world, Justin Trudell's super chat, $2.
Now that guy gets comedy.
He said tailgate in Foxborough with eyes and burgers and dog. He'd be all about it.
That's true, and I bet I would like Justin's cooking, so he's welcome to join.
I got a mobile Blackstone. We can do this.
I like it. I'm in. Now, Joe might hear this and cancel his gig. I would say, Joe, we're not going to heckle you. We're paying money to see you, asshole. Don't cancel it.
Our motto is observe and report, Joe. We won't.
It will be the most tickets you've sold in a decent amount of time. I'm not saying. By the way, that's 10 tickets. So I'm not saying expect a lot, but.
And if he cancels the show, we'll still do a tailgate somewhere.
Yeah, we'll just go in honor of Joe Matarese.
That's right.
It's to be an interview style. All about from the night I did the show with Artie Lang, Jim Norton, and Anthony Cumia. Because that's when it all started, that night.
I remember. Where did I see this?
The first porcelain doc?
Oh, you know what? You're right. It was the porcelain. It was the documentary made about Joe Matarese. That's right. That's where I saw it.
And then it goes into a deep study of why I get targeted. Show a little bit of that.
Oh, that's really interesting, Joe. Turn the camera on us.
Yeah, and he'll absolutely show the right reasons.
That's really, you know what? You know what I think will happen if Joe does make this documentary? I'm goofing on it, of course, but that's what we do here. But if Joe does make this documentary, you know what I think would happen? Is Mike David from Red Bar would watch it, and he would go, oh my God, Joe, I'm so sorry.
That would be
I was wrong. We were wrong, Joe, and you were right.
Documentary from the night it all started to now.
That's been done, Joe.
3 documentaries, but I mean my own.
Yeah, I mean, Red Bar and Porcelain did it for a long time, and then we've kind of picked up the ball and run with it.
Now, what if we did a doc where I take the spot that makes me look bad and I just erase it?
Let me throw this at you. It's called Puff Puff Piece.
Showing everything that's happened and how it's affected me and how it affects other comedians that go through the same stuff. I think it'd be interesting. I don't know if I could get enough money together. How much of a budget you think?
Enough money. How much do you think Porcelain spent? You know, production. And how much do you think Porcelain spent on that YouTube documentary?
$0 because he did it himself.
I would think maybe upwards of 100 because he might have a yearly subscription to certain things to like editing software and stuff.
So maybe max 500, but that's just.
Yeah. Joe needs, by the way, he didn't say the number in any of these clips, but I happen to know it. Do you know the number that he threw out?
I'm going to guess $50,000.
25,000 minimum.
Oh my God.
Yep. Needs at least 25,000 to make this thing right.
No, he doesn't. He's gonna do it.
Someone said, Joe goes, how much do you think it would cost to make a good documentary? And someone in the chat goes, minimum $400,000, which I thought was very funny.
You need somebody who can shoot it and edit it, do a really good job on it. But I'm the subject. I'm the main subject. But there's a B and a C story.
Wait, you mean so maybe, and I'm trying to think about how this would play. You mean maybe people could also cover, like, I don't know, Stuttering John and, Ray DeVito.
But he doesn't understand that the main subject would be Stuttering John. He would be the side story in that documentary.
Well, people in the chat started saying that. They're like, if you did this right, you should make yourself the B or C story. And he goes, nah, my documentary.
Because no one will give a shit about him. He's just a dickhead who stinks at comedy. Stuttering John was on the biggest radio show of all time and is
right. That's an interesting idea we've stumbled upon here very easily. Is that if Joe did a documentary where it's Stuttering John, him, Aaron from Steel Toe, fucking Mersh. Honestly, that'd be interesting. Like, Mersh gets trolled and trolls other people. You know what I mean? Like, now we're going on some interesting ground here, Joe. Still probably don't need $25,000. All the footage you need is on YouTube, more or less.
I was going to say, he's like, hey, I want someone to shoot it and have it look good. It's like, well, it's already shot.
Wow. Imagine if we could see Artie Lang dying in crystal clear quality. Wouldn't that be great?
Next we got Terrible Idea.
It's just, we're like 6 clips in and I was just like, it's just so bad. I'm still like dumbfounded by it.
It rightfully so.
On a network, on a streaming network.
Oh yeah, he wants this on like this.
Like this right now would be in the documentary.
Wow.
This.
Wouldn't that be something? Can you imagine that? Well, now let's readjust our numbers here.
If this is in the doc, then you don't need money to record it.
Now that I know this live stream will be in it, I think we're going to have to bump those numbers up to at least 100,000.
200.
If you just take clips from YouTube and put them in there. Joe, why would this be in the documentary? Think about it for a second.
It would be the start of the documentary.
He thinks his life is the Truman Show. He thinks like everything about himself is interesting. It's like if I was like, hey, let's do a documentary on me. And then like this is in the documentary. It's like, so you just mean do your show.
Do this shittily.
I'm like, yes, but you give me $25,000.
Talking to you. Your thoughts?
Well, I have many notes, Joe.
Yeah,
Joe's a fascinating guy because he constantly, ever since I picked up this pen, I can't put it down. But I feel like it really drives home my point.
Now you look like Aaron Imholt.
Oh, God. I'm sorry I did that, everyone. So I lost my train of thought now. God damn it.
He's brainwiped.
Yeah, completely. Let's hear more Joe. Maybe we'll come back.
It would be full disclosure. Everything. The truth. The truth. My version of this story.
Ah, finally the truth comes out.
The truth. Do you have a problem? No. All right, so the truth's gone.
How much do you think I could raise?
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Thank you, Joe, for reminding me. Joe hates us analyzing him.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we give pretty good feedback, you know? You can listen to it or not listen to it, think we're right or wrong, whatever. But, like, we give our thoughts. Joe hates that we do that. I've witnessed streams that have gotten deleted where he specifically names us and says he hates us.
Oh, really?
Yet, he turns to the chat and says, what do you guys think of this idea? You think I should do this? How much money do you think I would need to raise? Joe, none of us have made a documentary before. How about you ask some of your friends that have done it instead of going to YouTube and being like, what should I do, guys? Talk to your peers. We've told you what we think. Have a fucking original idea and stick to it for a long time until you feel there's nothing more you can add to it or change.
This would be the first documentary, I think, that a giant chunk of it would be covering a different documentary.
Yes, yeah.
A good one. But, like, realistically, what he should do is go pitch the idea to one of these streaming things, and if it's good, they'll pick it up.
Yeah, but he should also mention Porcelain and be like, that's probably the guy you want to talk to.
No shit.
Maybe you want to hire this guy to do the documentary.
It's like, I need creative control so it doesn't get out of hand.
Maybe I could even get Artie Lang in it.
Whoa!
Boy, that'd be great, Joe, if we watched a man die in front of us.
Get Artie Lang in it. Bring him to where you are right now, you piece of shit.
Let's drag the corpse of Artie Lang out for our own gain. That'd be terrific.
The night that it all started was Artie, Jim Norton, Anthony Cumia.
We know.
Village Underground for the Fixing Joe pilot shoot. That's where it all began.
It's interesting because if I was in Joe's chat and I mentioned that, he'd say, God, you guys are obsessed with old stuff. I'm so far past that.
No shit. More eyeball. What do we got? Yeah, we got two of these clips left.
Okay, let's hear them.
More eyeballs.
Yeah. Oh, well, Joe's always asking the chat because people with 6 YouTube subscribers are definitely the best people to ask. How do you get more people to watch your content?
Is this the one when he's talking about the porcelain doc specifically?
Yeah. You know what? I think it is. Yeah.
This is crazy. Okay.
How do we engage all the people that watch the Porcelain documentary? There's 3 docs, right? And then the interview. Like with Kevin.
Yeah, it seems like it's been pretty well covered.
What was that?
Seems like it's been pretty well covered.
Like what Kevin Brennan says, it's like 700,000 views when you combine all those. How do we get to all those people? How do we engage? What do we got to shoot it on the?
I've got an idea.
We'll put the document.
You make an interesting product on a subject that hasn't been touched on yet. Now, the reason I don't have the same amount of views as Porcelain is because this lemon has been squeezed dry. Mike David and Porcelain did a pretty good job years ago. But I still find it interesting and like talking about it, and maybe I add something new to the discussion. So we get a few more views than Joe would on this terrible documentary.
Darth Nugs, $5. I would watch Joe's documentary if he can get the same producers that created Sharknado to film it.
That'd be fun.
That'd be interesting.
On Porcelain's channel. Joe's side of the story.
You did
Joe,
that.
You did that. You did the interview. Your side of the story. Joe, your side is out there. You have a fucking camera in front of you. Say it again if you want. You are talking into a camera to your audience. These are the people that will see it. He's like, how do I get Andrew Schultz's audience interested in me? Be Andrew Schultz. That's the answer. I don't know what to tell you.
This is the last clip, and this is him polling the chat.
Yeah, guys, put a 1 in the chat if you think this is the greatest idea you've ever heard.
I don't think I'm a failure. I got confidence. I built myself back up the last few weeks, not reading all your comments. I don't think I'm a failure.
Good for you, Joe.
Doing all right. All right, maybe it's a bad idea. If you guys think it's a bad idea, like I said, it's for you.
Even people trolling him are like, Joe, why are you doing this?
Why would you ever? Everyone's putting 1 in our chat. They think it's a good idea.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm just throwing it out there to you guys. What would make you guys want to watch it? What would it have to show?
He's doing this in like, we just said we don't want to.
Well, what would make you? What would make you watch it? I guess if fucking Scorsese took over the project, that would be interesting to me.
We could get a GoFundMe for that.
If Scorsese's like, this is an Italian I cannot make interesting. I'm sorry.
For you to be interested in it, let me know.
Yeah, we'll let you know, Joe. We'll get back to you. It's a constant negotiation with his audience. Joe, fucking Shane, the bit we played at the beginning of the show, I've been a Shane Gillis fan for a long time now. He didn't ask me if he could do that bit or not. He didn't say, hey, Mike, should I release my first special? Should I film that in Austin and then release it on YouTube? Or like, what do you think the best way to go about it is, you know? Hey, Mike, I got fired from SNL. Like, should I apologize? What do you think? I didn't get to weigh in on these matters. I'm just a fan of the guy, you know?
If you got to weigh in on the SNL thing, he might be even bigger right now.
I think his career would have been ruined. I'd have been like, Shane, you don't give these people a fucking inch. You go scorched earth.
I do enjoy when comics talk to him and he's like, I know what you said.
Yeah.
He was on
hey Nikki Glazer.
Yeah, he was on a broadcast thing for one of the whatever the fuck tour he's on. They were doing a podcast and that came up and I was like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, but that's a career you get when you don't poll the audience on every fucking decision you make.
Right.
Poor Joe, such a misguided man. And at this point, I think we're beyond. There was what in that last Porcelain documentary, it was almost like, oh, maybe Porcelain is helping Joe figure out his way. And here we are 6 years later, 7 years later, haven't moved.
He almost seems worse.
We're in the exact same place. Yeah, if not worse. All right, poor Joe.